here we are, guys. CB4 Patch Note, Warrior's Will. Now here's the thing. Let's start. New Chinese map. So they have the new Chinese map with Chinese day and night. This is cool, but this is not like the big changes. The new leader, Guan Yu, is gonna be really interesting because he's actually giving you a Crescent Blade. For those who don't know, Crescent Blade is a 0 mana card that deals 1 damage to a non-leader unit on the board. That is really good to combo with commands card, command unit that have that. So, and Guan Yu is going to be melee also, since he's a 1 and 20 health, 1 attack, 20 health. This is going to be really interesting. This is the second leader of the Chinese, and obviously he's going to be, you're going to need to open it in a pack or craft it. Now, we got 3 more cards. That's not a lot, but the whole game is changing after. So the first card is a neutral epic who's called Blade Master. He costs 7 mana for 4/7 charge and Warcry. Warcry meaning whenever you play him, whenever he gets onto the battlefield, it's gonna trigger its effects and it's gonna heal your leader for 3. This meaning that if the Odin aggro deck didn't kill you before your 7 mana, then you're gonna be able to heal for 3. So yeah, I would love him to see a little bit less powerful and maybe remove charge, put in less mana and be able to heal. But because this is gonna be the only way that the Chinese are gonna be able to heal. Now, Discord. Discord is just a really funny card. Who it means that it's an epic. It's an epic card, epic Chinese, that's gonna cost 0 mana to move all enemies to a random adjacent tile. This is gonna be really weird, and some people are gonna love it and play that, that's for sure. Now, Judgment is a Greek common card. For 2 mana, they're gonna be able to deal 2 damage to a non-leader unit, so it's a little bit worse than Sunder. But if you have 2 or more gods, keep in mind that is gods and not minion, in play, you will be able to deal 4 damage instead of 2. Would make it better than Sunder. So in the late game, it's going to be stronger. And this is exactly what you want a card. In the early game, you want it to be reliable. And in the late game, it is going to be stronger. Even if it's conditional. So these are all for the new cards. We got just 4 new cards. 1 neutral, 2 Chinese, 1 leader, and 1 Greek. Now they're gonna be boosting the daily quest for every quest. Every quest is gonna be boosted by 30, and basically they're gonna keep maybe adjusting the favorite rate that we win. They did implement the new attack indicators, which is gonna be an arrow whenever you want to attack. So it's gonna be easier to see which units you can attack and which you cannot attack. And also they added the urns that you can have +1 attack, +2 health, or +1 mana pot. You can now gonna be able to see it in the Egyptian day map. And on the Norse Night map, they removed the lava tile basically. I don't know, they were saying that it was just an awkward mechanic, so they just preferred to remove it. There's a bunch of new epics, and the one for Phantom Grass is amazing, like they showed on the stream. So I'm really hyped for these. Like they said that all the legendary cards will now have epics legendary. So like Book of the Dead and like Far Shards is going to be amazing. Now, they revamped the campaign again because of all the new changes that you're going to see. And they changed some keywords, removed them, put new ones. You'll see what later on in the patch. Now, the leader changes. Like, they're completely changing how the leader ability works. So, now using your leader ability will no longer exhaust your leader, meaning that you're going to be able to attack, use your ability on the same turn, and move. So, now they're going to add a button that you're going to be able to click on the bottom left of the UI. And, they're going to be trying to improve the UI's element in the future patch. And that meaning that they change not how they work the ability. I mean the ISIS one, yes, but they change it, like they make a change to all the leaders basically, except Ra. So Freya is gonna be 3 mana to banish, but remember that she can still move and attack. So it's kind of a nerf but of a buff at the same time. This means that Freya is going to be able to always remove for 3 mana one of the enemy threat and still be able to move, place units around her whenever she wants to, and attack. It's going to be really strong. Isis is going to be 1 mana to give a friendly protect 1. I assume that this is going to be shield. Maybe I'm wrong. We're going to see, you know, eventually. And yeah, so this is way better than her silence. It's only 1 mana and she's still able to attack and everything. So if she protects himself for a shield every turn, I mean, this is going to be really good against aggro with all the 1 minion attack that they have. Now Poseidon, he's going to be, his leader ability basically now only hits 1 tile, but he's able to use his ability and a basic attack for basically dealing 2 damage on the same turn. And with all the, like, and this is kind of also really weird because taunt changes. It doesn't lock the movement of the enemies. So it's going to be really feel weird about Poseidon ability with the taunt being changed. So yeah, this is going to be really interesting. Zeus, now his ability is going to, why did they change Zeus for a free card 118? Why didn't they do that? I don't know why they put in that. But basically his ability now costs 3 mana, meaning that you're not going to be able to start the turn and automatically draw a card if you don't have something to play. And, you know, it's still going to be a good turn. Now, if you have nothing to play on turn 2, well, you're basically going to have nothing to do except attacking and moving. Which means that for Zeus now, you know, having a 2-drops is really important. Now the god changes. Like, this is a really big changes. Like, what are they saying here? Yeah, they changed the mechanics of the god and the abilities. Yeah, you cannot activate the abilities anymore. It was just going automatically through the combat. You will see. So what they were saying, yeah, they're basically saying why did they do that. So taunt has been changed to guard. This is what I was trying to say. So now, guard is a new mechanic that is going to prevent your friendly units from being directly attacked who are adjacent to the guard unit. Like, so the enemy is going to have to kill the unit with guard before attacking your other allies unit around it. But you can still use AoE effects like abilities and items to kill the units who are protected. So, you know, and this will mean that your opponents are going to be able to use their ability and to move because they're not going to be taunted. You're going to guard your unit. It's much more protective now than offensive. Now the god balance, Anher. This is the good stuff. Like Anher, it's an epic 4 mana 3/3. Didn't change. He's still range, and the attack knockbacks 2 tiles. And if the tile is occupied, the unit is stunned. Wow. So this means that you're going to be able to get stunned by your own units. You're going to get stunned by the walls. You're going to get stunned by the opponent's units. So basically everything that is on a tile, even an urn or like, you know, an annual flag, it's going to now stun you. This is really good for Anher. So now Anubis. Anubis is God Legendary 6, so they didn't change anything on the stats, but now whenever he enters the battlefield, he deals 3 damage in their target area, and enemies in the target area at the end of their turn takes 3 damage. So basically Anubis has his ability 1 time whenever you play him, and this can really swing the games back into your, you know, favor. This is going to go through taunts also, since it's an AoE. Now Ao Kuang, he just... So he changed. He actually got a buff from attack. He still costs 5 mana, still an epic, but he's a 5/5 now. And whenever he dies, he leaves behind an illusion 0/5. And if the illusion is not killed by the end of the turn, it deals 2 damage to all adjacent enemies. Wow, this is underwhelming, guys. For an epic? Wow. Like, let's be honest, if they have 5 mana to kill him, they're probably gonna have 5 damage to kill him. They're probably gonna have 5 damage to kill the illusion. I don't know. And the illusion doesn't even have ward or anything. This is gonna be interesting to see how it plays out. Now, Aphrodite, 3 mana, 3 cards, 4 mana, 1/4 range, nothing changed. And whenever she enters a battlefield with a war cry, target a friendly and give them protect 1 and heal them for 1 at the start of your turn. I feel that basically you're not going to be able to change Afro Kiss whenever you want, so you're just going to have to choose a target and stick with it. That's interesting. It's going to be really more impactful on which unit you want to play it. Arachne, wow. What is that? So it's the same stat, same mana, and at the end of your turn you spawn a 1/1 Spiderling. And they boosted the movement speed of the Spiderling. So now your Spiderlings are basically busted cats. So that's like a cat generator from the old cats of Bastet. Like Arachne is gonna be a good card now. They're not only you're gonna be able to body block, but also gonna be able to put damage. Yes, they have less health, but still, if it's gonna be annoying. Ares. I know some people were waiting for Ares. So Ares is going to be still 7 mana, still a 3/8. And whenever you play him on a battlefield, you're going to pull an enemy to you and stun them. So I guess that we're going to have to figure out what is the range on that. So it may be really good, maybe not. I mean, you're still going to have to need to have some units on the board to be able to attack the stun unit. Because if not, it's going to be underwhelming just to playing like naked on the board. Athena. So 6 mana, 2/7, nothing changed. And she still have ward and ward wide. Oh my god, she can be deployed anywhere on the map? Oh, but because the change of taunt, it is not as strong as it would be. Because if you play it around opponents, it's not going to change anything. You need to play her around your units. Which mean probably around where your leader is, which mean that her ability is not like that impactful. So like Ward and the Warcry doesn't fit together really. So now Bastet. Bastet got completely changed. I mean not completely, but she's not gonna be able to spawn cats every 2 turns. Now Afterlife meaning that's gonna trigger whenever she dies. And now the cats basically spawns when Bastet dies. She's still a 3 mana to 3, and the movement speed of the cat got increased from 2 to 3. This is gonna help them to reach a little bit more. So Chang'e, she's still gonna be a 0/5 for 3 mana, and at the end of your turn, you heal all adjacent friendlies for 1. Well, she's just gonna be like a heal bot, basically. So Enyo is still same stat, same mana, and whenever she enters the battlefield, you place a 0/4 flag, which is the same that your unit can be deployed from. And now, instead of the slow, like they said, it's giving +1 attack to all your friendly units. This, with Arachne spiders, can be really good. Like, yeah. So yes. That could be really interesting. Boosting your whole army. That can even give you lethal really fast. Fenrir. Fenrir is a rare, excuse me guys. Fenrir is a rare 2/3. He got completely changed, even the stats. But what is the mana cost? Is it still 6? If Fenrir has not attacked when your turn ends, it gains +2/+2. No, they must have changed the mana cost on that. Because it's not good for 6 mana. It's gonna be interesting to see what is it in game. Geb. Now Geb, it's gonna mean yeah, so basically like I was saying, Geb is just gonna be 1 time his heal, which is gonna be much less impactful. It's gonna be a rare for a 2/7, and whenever he enters the battlefield with Warcry, it's gonna give a friendly unit +2 health and remove all crowd control effects. Okay. Interesting. That's a big nerf on Geb, by the way. And Hades is going to be basically his ability, but only one time, which is mainly when that was the strongest part about Hades. It's rare that he's going to use it 2 times, you know, the third turn he's on play, he's going to reuse it. So basically, it's going to be 2-6 range with Warcry forcing adjacent enemies to move away and root them. Basically what he had. Now, Hou Yi. Yes, this is good for Hou Yi. Being an epic 2-4 is way better than a 3-3. He's going to survive much more. And, like, I'll attack also hit random adjacent. Oh, that's cool. Now his attack basically always have ricochet. That is cool. I like the Hou Yi. I really like that Hou Yi change. It's 2 damage. Yeah, like, because you can attack a ranged melee unit, and it's going to bounce. No, not a ranged melee unit. What am I talking about? You can attack a melee unit, and it's going to bounce on the ranged one, and you're not going to take even any return damage. This is much more impactful with Hou Yi. I really like that. I feel a little bit sad though that the Hou Yi Chang'e doesn't work anymore together, unless like whenever Chang'e is in play, Hou Yi gains +1 attack, and whenever Hou Yi is in play, Chang'e heals for 2 instead of 1, or something like, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting, but now, like, yeah, it's gonna be. I really like the patch so far. Khepri now. Still a common for 5 mana. I assume they didn't change his stats since they don't talk about it. And now the attack deals damage in a line and give +1/+0 to all friendlies they pass through until the end of turn. So that's basically cool. Khepri being on 1/8 is definitely going to be played, and now that Geb is being nerfed hard. So now we're at Loki. What did they do to Loki? So he's still a 5/3 stealth, but Loki first attack teleports him to the target and deals attack damage. So basically, the first attack Loki has is gonna be his ability, and after it's like that's it. Like he just bursts you, and then you just a normal 5/3 on the board. Medusa, oh my god, still 4 mana, still 3/5, still really powerful stats for 4 mana, still range, and attacking and damage non-leader enemy. Oh my god. Turns them into stone? Wow. Oh my god. This is still amazing for an ability. I mean, for a basic attack. Like, you can kill Khepris, you can kill Gebs. Like, like, Athena's Fire Giant, you just basic attack with your Zeus, attack with Medusa, and they're dead. Like, it's basically insta-kill on her attack. This is really interesting, and she's going to be still very powerful for 4 mana. Yeah, like someone is saying in chat, she's going to at least take return damage from range units, so yeah, it is something to keep in mind. She cannot just use her ability freely into range units and not get punished by it. Now, Neat, basically her basic attacks root now. That's going to give some control to the Egyptians, like being able to keep melee units away from Neat just by attacking them each turn. Like, Neat can 2-shot a Fire Giant, and Fire Giant can't even reach Neat now. Osiris, I was hyped for this one. What did they change? So 6 mana 5/7, they buffed his attack, and whenever he enters the battlefield, he tethers all adjacent enemy until your next turn, and if a tethered enemy moves out of melee range, they are stunned. Well, this is exactly what I was trying to give him. I was like, they should give him initiative, and this is exactly what Warcry does. And they even buffed his attack. I think now Osiris is going to be played, and he's going to be impactful. Scylla got nerfed, guys. Scylla got nerfed. Epic 3 mana. Oh, she reduced in mana, and she's now a 1/3. Wow, this is so huge. Wow, epic 1/3 charge. If Scylla kills an enemy, she gains +3/+0 until the end of your next turn. This means that now Scylla needs to get a kill in order to be buffed. So each turn she needs to get a new kill in order to always get buffed. If she misses a turn with a kill, she's gonna be a 1-3. Now, Scylla being at 3 health is gonna be much way easier to deal with it. But now she has charge, so she can kill the pesky minions of Odin. And at 3 mana, that means that she will be the only Greek god to being able to play it at 3 mana. Like, you can play Archer into then Scylla into the rest of your gods that they goes. That's a really good curve. So this is really interesting. I really like the Scylla changes because honestly she was a little too OP for me. Now Serket is still a common 3 mana for a 3/3. These are really good stats, by the way, and whenever she dies, she poisons a random adjacent non-leader enemy that they die at the end of the next turn. So at the end of the opponent's turn, they will die. So if she gets killed by a high health minion, like an Osiris, she may poison him if he's the only one around her, and he will die on the next turn. This is interesting. Now Scotty, oh my god, what happened to Scotty? 3 mana 2/3, nothing changed. Range, still the same thing. Warcry, add a Caldera to a hand, nothing changed so far. Add a Caldera to your hand and reduce its cost by 1. So basically, she doesn't have any more ability. This is good. This is actually good. I really like this. Wow. Wow, that's really interesting. That's a big nerf to Scotty. Okay, now moving on. Sobek. He's still a 2 mana 1/3 and attack throws enemy up to 2 tiles behind Sobek. I guess this shouldn't work in diagonal space, but now every basic attack of Sobek, he just plucks every. Sobek is gonna be a monster. Oh my god, it's not Scylla anymore, guys. It's Sobek, God of the Nile. Oh my god, I'm hyped. Sobek is gonna be something you wanna play. Like being able to heal him with Ra also, or giving protection with Isis. Like both of the leaders on Egyptian are gonna be defensive. Like Ra with the heals, Isis with the protections. It's gonna be awesome. Soul now, oh my god, Soul got changed to 2 mana, 1/2 range, stealth, and the range attacks. Attack deals damage to targets and all enemies adjacent to the target. This is like basically better than Hou-Yi, but it's only 1 damage and Hou-Yi is 2. So okay, so she fires like a bomb basically, and she only gonna get the return damage from the I guess the target that she attacked. She's only having 1 health, so one attack for 2 mana though. That's really interesting. Sun Wukong got changed. So now it's only when he enters the battlefield that you discover an animal form. This is way better, honestly. Like, being able to have all your animal forms was way too strong. And now it's also with the removal of temporal beads and Road of Teudi, you know, because they're like all the gods were changed, so they decided to remove them. Like, there's no 1-turn kill with Sun Wukong, or 2-turn kills with Sun Wukong, where you can play him and then play Temporal Beads and hit for 8 plus 10 and finish your opponent like that, even if they were full health. So he's still going to be really strong as 6 mana, 6/7. Thanatos, what happened? I guess it's just going to be when he enters the battlefield, so 4 mana, 3/2, travels, and yep, exactly. Whenever he enters the battlefield with Warcry, I really like that. He's still the same. You know, nothing changed with Thanatos, basically, because that's where 95% of the time you will play Thanatos. Just play him to execute something. Now, Thor is still 4 mana, 4/4, and he gains +1/+0 for each adjacent enemy. So you can just move around your Thor, and his attack is going to change depending on how much enemies is around him. Wow, this is a big buff to Thor. Like, because even if there's Ward, Thor's going to be able to use his ability. He's going to do a lot of damage. Ymir is a 2/7 for 5 mana, so they reduce his attack by 2. But now his attacks stun the enemies, which means that the enemies will not be able to attack him back, and all your other units are going to be able to kill that enemy without retaliating. So Ymir is going to be strong. 7 health is hard to deal with. And that means that if you attack Ymir, then you're stunned, and on the next turn, like he can attack you back, and you're still stunned. So like whenever you touch Ymir, you're just like basically stunned. So disable card due to changes. Yeah, exactly. They disabled temporal beads and Rod of Teoti, like I was saying, and now they added the beast to some cards. A beast tag instead of minion, I guess. This is an indirect nerf to minion recruiter, and they want to maybe place in the game cards that will boost beasts. And I feel like they change a card to just summon beast. We'll see in the balance change. Maybe it's gonna be there. So the neutral Bull Demon King got again another attack. He started as a 2/5, and now he got buffed in the CB3 patch to a 3/5, and now he's a 4/5. And he's dealing, whenever he attacks, he deals damage to all adjacent enemies. This is going to be really good now. Brute is now, basically they changed Taunt for Guard. Same thing with Chao Feng. Taunt for Guard. Dive-in Intervention. Now they reduce the cost of this card by 1 mana. And with the nerf to Zeus, that you have to play his ability for 3 mana, maybe now playing Dive-in Intervention on the first turn for 2 mana and having 2 gods from your deck is not going to be bad, especially that Scylla costs 3 mana and that you could play Scylla the next turn if you don't have it in your hand. So maybe you'll see some Dive-in Intervention in the next days after patch, obviously. Evolve, also, this is what I was trying to tell you guys. Evolve got changed, so instead of spawning a random colossal unit, it's going to spawn a random beast. So, yeah, it's still 4 mana. Guard basically is going to give Guard instead of Taunt, still with 3 mana, but it's going to also give +2 health. And now, the Curse Hunters got changed. It's basically now an item instead of a minion card. This meaning that Valhalla Sorcery is going to be able to get them. Meaning also that Minion Recruiter is not going to be able to get them. And yeah, basically, because it's the same thing, deploy 2 Curse Hunters. Imperial Guard. Now, Imperial Guard is the same mana cost, but they increase the health to 4, so he's going to be able to survive much more easier. 2 Fire Imps and Sunder, plus a basic attack of a leader. And he's going to drop an attack, though, so he's not going to be able to kill the Anubises and the Medusa on 5 mana with a charge, but he still have the same ability. It's weird that they say that he takes no return damage instead of Pardon. So I think maybe they removed Pardon and they want to reward it like this in the future. Manifold Blade got changed, so instead of +1 damage for every colossal unit, it's going to be for every beast in play. Meditation, mana cost reduced by 1 to 2 mana, so it's going to help it if you want to play that. Hugwei basically got 1 more health, so now if you can't remove it when he's playing on the board, well, he's going to be a 5/5, and that is pretty good, honestly, guys. This is really good stat, especially that he's gonna just grow and grow with the time that it advances. So, Scarab Blessing is now permanent. Yes, it's not until the end of the turn, it's now permanent. So, maybe you're gonna see some play, because you can just play it whenever you have 2 floating mana, and they have basically to kill a unit 2 times. And if they kill it 1 time and they leave it at 2 health, maybe you can heal it with Raw and with Meditation. So it's going to be really interesting. Spartan, basically, instead of giving, what is it now? They changed it. What is it now? It's not Protect, but, you know, the same thing. They just changed it for Protect instead of Shield. Yeah, it's Shield. So Shield got changed to Protect. No, they also reduces mana by 1, because he's costing 5 mana right now. Now it's gonna cost 4. He's still gonna be a 1/4. Not really impactful. It's not even range. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I don't know if they reverse that you cannot stack the protect. So what if Afro Kiss and Spartan give protect too? If they add, we're gonna have to try it because I don't know that we're talking about that. If they change it or not. But let's move to the next card, who is Warrior Sigil, who's basically the 2 Curse Warriors as an item card instead of a minion card. Now, White Tagger is going to be 2 mana for a 1/3. So, wow, this is so strong now. And he's just going to get health. So, whenever you can't kill him. So, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to really kill him. Even from the start of the turn, if your opponent playing in the back and you just start growing and growing, and eventually they put a transfusion on it, and he's like, oh, well, that's a 10/10 now. And he's going to have the Beast Stag instead of Minion. And they also reduce some mana from Wind Demon. They maybe want to try to make it more usable, because 4 mana was really high to bust a minion that maybe will die. So we're going to lose 2 cards instead of 1. And they did fix a bunch of bugs with the banish units still providing aura. Rank matches not providing quest progress. Stone Guardian being able to attack taunt unit, which now is guard, so that was probably easy to fix. And Elder RP not animating correctly. That's weird. And the slow FX on Basilisk. Well, that's surprising since I didn't saw a lot of Basilisks and I didn't saw a lot of slow. So guys, thank you for tuning in here. I hope that you are excited for the patch note. And like the patch should come in the upcoming days. So thank you for watching. I hope that you learned a lot today again. And I'll see you soon. Bye bye.